Aloha and welcome everyone to Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out how they're working to support the needs within our community. Maui Nonprofit Notes is generously sponsored by Pacific Source. If you're building or remodeling a home, you've just got to check out Pacific Source's Cabinet and Appliance Showroom in the Waikapu Bayshard. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific and President of the Maui Nonprofit Directors Association. For those of you who don't listen every week and may not know what's in store for you, we share the experiences of how our nonprofit agencies are working to benefit our island home, with stories of how these agencies are changing lives, changing communities, and creating miracles of hope for those in need. Today we're going to start off our show with a discussion here with Lox Abraham, who is the executive director?
President CPO.
Oh,
Same
President
difference.
CPO, Chief Professional Officer for Maui United Way. And see, I got it right this time.
Yes, you
First
better.
time out.
You better, Susie.
After all these years of calling you everything else, it is Maui United Way. And you just seem to be busy every week doing something.
That's how it feels.
Yes.
But you know, I have to say, I'm busy for a good cause, right?
There you go. There you go.
Isn't that how we explain it?
Exactly.
How are you doing?
We're doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's September already. I can't believe
I
that.
can't believe it's September. August just kind of blinked by.
Actually, you know what? I just passed the 2-year mark.
Did
at
you?
the office.
Congratulations.
I can't believe that. That's how
Yeah.
fast it flies.
That's a big accomplishment, especially in the nonprofit director world.
I'm still there. I'm still here.
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about what you've got coming up.
Sure.
Well, maybe in general, for those of you who aren't.
We'll start off in general, and
Familiar.
then we'll talk about what I got going on.
Okay.
Because we always got stuff going on.
Right,
We
so-
actually had a really great event this past weekend. We were partnering with Maui Electric Company, who is kind enough every year to do a wonderful Miko Keiki Tilapia fishing tournament. It was our 5th inaugural, and over the last 5 years, Maui Electric Company has raised $50,000 for us just in catching tilapia. Isn't that amazing?
What is it, a per gram count or something?
Yeah,
or-
well, it's actually per gram. I mean, they get as small as like 0.1 gram.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's some really, really tiny, but they give out prizes to the biggest and smallest fish. I think the biggest fish was in the area of about 430 grams, which is a pretty big tilapia, and then the smallest one was just around 1.1 gram or something like that.
Yeah, I keep seeing these frozen dinners and frozen tilapia
Oh,
in the store,
yeah.
and I think,
I can't connect.
why would you
with those.
buy
Yeah,
that?
I was like, even in the mainland, I'm like, how do these people eat tilapia? But I assume it's farmed fresh in a nice environment, not like down at Kanaha or in somebody's pond next to their house. Somewhere where the fish are eating good stuff.
Okay.
But this is actually just for fun. We have over 600 kids that come out and participate every year. The tournament sells out every year. It's just a fun day. Actually, it's just the morning where we get a bunch of families come out. We had well over probably 1,500 people there this weekend. And Kaanapali Golf Course is another wonderful sponsor that sponsors the event and allows us to come onto their wonderful golf course and fish at their pond. And it was a really fun, eventful day. I actually got the opportunity. I was sitting right in front of a family that was fishing, and their little girl pulled up this giant carp, which was I swear the thing was like 15 pounds. It was huge. It was like something from River Monsters. And the whole side of the pond erupted in cheer when she brought it up. But and that doesn't happen. That's the first time that's happened in the 5 years that
Really?
I've been there. Yeah, people they hook them every once in a while, but because they're so heavy, their lines usually break.
Oh, yeah, because they're fishing for
Yeah,
tilapia.
but this year a girl actually pulled one out.
Oh, my gosh.
It was scary.
It's.
But she was stoked.
Is it safe to say it's eating a lot of tilapia?
I would, I don't know. I don't know
what they
There's all
eat.
kinds of stuff in that
Is there?
pond. Yeah.
Is there?
It actually runs out to the ocean. I believe it connects to the ocean somewhere. So there's some random fish that come out of there, but there's a couple different kinds, but mostly tilapia. But anyways, that was a great weekend. They raised a lot of money for United Way, and just, another one of those fun weekends that we have with all these events that we have going on year to year.
Now, the day before at our executive director's retreat, you were saying you were going to go out Saturday and do some digging for worms. Did I hear that correctly?
Well, yes, my kids, of course. I have 3 kids, and they all participate in the tilapia tournament. I mean, they look forward to it year round. It's something that they wait for all year. So, of course, it's the one day of the year that I don't have to wake them up. They jump up at 5 o'clock in the morning. But anyways, yes, we go and get our worms, and, we're on radio, so write this down if you're an avid tilapia fisher. We go down to Maliko Gulch and dig up our worms. It's a great place to get worms. I can't even express, there's so many worms down there. And, that's our practice.
And you keep them live.
You have to keep them live, yeah.
And
they don't like dead worms.
They don't.
So we have them in a bucket with dirt, and they're just squirming around in there, and you have to dig them out and hook them. And I don't do any of this, by the way. Luckily, I'm working the whole tournament.
I see.
But my sweet boyfriend gets to do it for them. But anyways, it was a great day. It's so much fun seeing all those kids out there just having a great time. And, what better way to raise money for United Way?
Right.
So thanks to everybody that was out there and that participated this weekend. It was a great event.
Yeah, well, the picture I saw looked like everybody was having a good time.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
And it was a perfect day.
It's crazy. People, the tournament itself, it starts at about 7:45. Actually, 7:30 this year it started. And there are people down there at 4 o'clock in the morning securing their spots, because the shaded areas, and there's very few shaded areas, are the best places to catch tilapia, apparently. But yeah, there's some really diehard tilapia fishers out there.
They've got it down to a science.
Yes, they do. They do.
Wow.
But it was a good time.
Cool.
And other than that, we have a lot of other stuff going on. One of the things I just wanted to mention is United Way has shifted slightly in the last year. We have expanded our membership. We no longer represent the 37 agencies. We're now up to 41 partners. 41 agency programs, but we represent 40 different partners. So we've grown a little bit in the sense of the number of agencies that we support. And we've brought on some great programs such as Best Buddies Hawaii. We also brought on Book Trust, Boys and Girls Club of Maui, another cool program from Lahaina Arts Association. We also are partnering with the Paia Youth and Cultural Center this year. And then a lot of people are familiar with Patch, People Attentive to Children. And PACT is another one that we work with now. So quite a few new agencies, but altogether there are 41 different programs that Maui United Way funds each year. So anyone who gives to United Way is benefiting all 41 of those programs.
So what's the difference between a partner and an agency?
Well, basically,
program?
It's the same difference. We have 40 partners, and we have 41 programs that we fund, because United Way doesn't fund partner agencies directly. They fund programs. So each agency that we fund, it's a specific program that we fund.
Okay.
So if you go on our website, mauiunitedway.org, you can check out exactly what programs we fund, but they're all under the umbrella of great agencies that we monitor annually to make sure that the money is being spent effectively and efficiently as possible. So great way to give back. 41 agencies to support in your community. Just give to United Way.
How do you decide who to support?
It's always a very, very difficult task. We, the staff at United Way, have nothing to do with deciding who becomes partners and who's funded, how the money is distributed. We work with a group of 40 plus volunteers every 2 years. We bring together what we call our grants allocation committee. And these people are tasked with reviewing the grant application, doing a site visit, and then deliberating to decide exactly how much money they want to award to each agency.
I see. And are they related to Maui United Way? Are they board members or just community members?
We do have some board members that serve on the grant allocation committee, but mostly they're just volunteers from different demographics of the community that give their time, and it's a very intensive process that they have to go through. They have to go through a training. They have to spend time reviewing grant apps. They take time to go to each agency, and they take time to interview each agency. So they're really valued volunteers. We have some volunteers that come back every 2 years to come and help us that have been working with us probably for 10, 15 years. And then we have a couple new ones every year. But it's a huge undertaking. And after all that's done, we're able to decide how much money is awarded to each agency and also which agencies we decide to partner with. And it's all done through volunteers.
Gotcha. Now, this is the third time that you've done it this way?
Yes. I mean, we've been doing it traditionally. The process hasn't changed that much. The biggest change has been that we've moved from funding unrestricted agencies to restricted, meaning that we just fund programs.
I see. And that is like the third 2-year
This,
period,
I think,
or
yeah, I
second?
think this is the third cycle.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Third cycle
It's
that
like
we started.
5 years
Gosh,
ago
I can't
when you
believe
switched.
it is the third one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But a couple years ago, we used to do this annually. Now we do it every 2 years, which is a huge relief for our agencies and a relief for us because it's a lot of work. But I think the nicest thing about the agencies that we're working with right now, I really feel that the 41 programs that we're supporting and the 40 agencies that we're working with are nice comprehensive representation of the most vital needs here on Maui. And ideally, that's what we shoot for. We want to be representing Maui's most vital needs. And we cover the areas of education, income, and health. Because at United Way, we believe that education, of course, supporting youth education and allowing our youth to achieve their fullest potential is very important. And then, of course, we cover income, which is incorporating families to be financially stable, to be able to retire someday and be able to support themselves. And then, of course, our last impact area is health, because where are we without good health? So everything that we support, all the programs that we support fall nicely into one of those 3 categories.
Gotcha. Now, while you do a 2-year funding cycle,
Yep.
but you're raising money every year.
Oh, gosh, yes.
So the hope is that
never
next
stops.
year. So the hope is next year there'll be at least as much as there was this year to give to people.
You know, it's really hard to say because there's so many different variables that contribute to how the campaign does year to year. We really fundraise now annually year from January through December. There is no break. And just to give you an idea, this last funding cycle that we went through, we had a ask of close to $2.5 million. That's how much agencies are asking us for. That's basically what they need to survive. And realistically, we had a little less than $1 million to give out. So you can imagine trying to divvy that money up between such a large ask is such a huge task. But what that does tell us is that there is an extreme need in our community, that it is very important to make sure that we give back, because these agencies, a lot of them cannot survive without United Way funding. We are that little piece of the pie that just makes it possible for them to continue their programs. So it's vital that we continue to get this generous support that we get from Maui. And, you know, those of you who do your campaigns through your workplace, whether you give individually, every little bit counts. So thank you so much for your support, and please continue to support United Way.
That's terrific. Now, can they still also designate somebody who's not one of your partners?
Sure.
For the
sure,
funds?
Sure.
Okay.
You can designate basically to any 501c3 agency there is out there. We try to encourage people to give and keep the money here on
Right.
Maui. I would say 99% of all of our funding stays here on Maui. But yes, you can give to any 501c3.
Gotcha.
We get some interesting ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your big campaign is still the employee through the
The
business.
employee giving campaign, yeah.
Which takes place what time of
Our
the year?
our window is August through October. But
Okay.
you know, in spite of things, that is just us ushering our companies to try and get their campaign done within that time.
Right.
'Cause
So that's right now.
Yeah, we're heavy into campaign right now. We just actually got all of our packets out. We work with close to 350 businesses here on Maui, and every year we send out a packet. They do their internal campaigns. A lot of what I do is I get to spend my time going out and talking to employees island-wide, and doing presentations about what it is that United Way does. We usually bring agencies with us to kind of talk about how the agencies benefited from the community support and what's going on with their programs, kind of like our program that is here today. But you know, it's a very intensive process, and we're out there year to year. I mean, it's kind of like the campaign window's kind of gone away, because right now we campaign year round.
Right. So you've
Yeah.
added a lot of smaller events.
Yeah.
Well, we can call them smaller, but they probably take more of your time if you added it
Yeah,
up.
we've been really blessed over the last couple years. We've had many companies jump up as far as becoming sponsors for United Way, and they enlist us as a beneficiary for whatever event they want to do. And we do all kinds of stuff. We do the tilapia fishing tournament. We have a golf tournament coming up that we'll talk about a little bit. In the past, we've done a Starlight Cinema. We've done summer bashes with hotels. We do all kinds of stuff.
And while you're thinking about that, we're going to take a short break.
Great.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. And we're
Janet Jackson.
What?
It's a Janet Jackson song.
What is?
Dun, dun, dun,
That little interlude of music that
Oh.
goes.
Time.
Janet Jackson, huh?
I'm pretty sure it is.
I've never heard her name in relation to that song. Okay, it's another version. Anyway, we're this is Maui Nonprofit Notes. We're back from our commercial break. Thanks to Pacific Source, we've been on the air now 4 years.
Has it been 4 years?
Can you believe it?
Wow.
I know.
That's pretty awesome.
It is. It is.
Pacific
And
Source is awesome.
I tell you, Paul and his crew over there are great.
They
And
are.
just-
Imagine how many minds we've educated about the nonprofit life out there.
And, you know, I don't know about you guys as guests if you get comments back after you've been on the show, but I get comments from people I don't even know, you know, and they or I'm introduced somewhere.
I've
and
got
somebody
some
goes,
of my
"You're the
largest
lady on the radio."
contributions because they heard me on the radio.
There you go.
You know, so it never hurts, especially as a nonprofit, to get your name out there and just talk yourself up anywhere you can, and to anyone who will listen, because you never know how that's going to come back and help your organization.
Exactly. And it's all good.
Yeah, I've had many people say, "Oh, I heard you on the radio. Here's a check." Isn't that how we wish it always worked?
Let me see how we can promote that a
Yeah.
little more.
A check for United Way,
Oh,
of course.
oh.
Yes.
I don't know, Dean. I think we have to share this here.
Trust me, it works. I have.
It
I've had
works.
people say that they've heard me on the radio
That's
talking
terrific.
about United Way, and it kind of sparked their memory. Oh, yeah. So they send in a check. You never know how you can reach people.
You know, I think that the United Way is something we've all really grown up with.
Mm-hmm. It's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
We've actually been in Maui County here for 50 years. We just celebrated our 50th anniversary last year.
So everyone's had a chance to be involved or at least
Sure.
or give where they worked or whatever. And then, you know, you start getting involved in other things. You forget about United Way. You don't pay any attention to it. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you hear something and you go,
It'll always come
oh, I
back
remember them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we do that anymore?
up. Yeah.
Yeah, and as nonprofits, you know, we believe in reciprocal giving. You know,
Right.
Imua Family Services has 2 programs that are supported through Maui United Way, but our staff are encouraged to give back to Maui United Way. In their payroll, they're given a pledge form that they commit a certain amount of their money monthly to the program, and that's.
You have to
the
practice
nature-
what you
do.
preach.
You do. Right, and
right.
you have to give back to the community that's giving to you, and we're giving back to the community. It's constant. You
Right,
know.
right. And that voice you're listening to is Dean Wong, who's the executive director of Imua
If you
Family
didn't
Services.
recognize
If
it,
you didn't.
And he's going to be on the next half hour. So
Yeah.
anyway, finishing up, we've got about 5 or 6 minutes yet.
Okay.
And you want to talk about your
so really quick, I'll
of
talk
course.
about our next big endeavor that we have coming up. It's called 12 at Twilight Golf Tournament. It is our golf tournament that is hosted. Stop laughing. I'm going to start laughing. It is our golf tournament that we're very, very lucky to have chaired by Miss Carrie O'Ura Kapoi. She has asked us to be her beneficiary this year for this great golf tournament. It's a really, really fun golf tournament. We're hosting it at Wailea Blue this year. It's called 12 at Twilight because it starts a little bit later in the afternoon, and outside the usual 18 holes, you only play 12 holes. And then it runs right into a party and a lot of good stuff. But basically, it's sponsored by Anheuser-Busch. They are going to be providing all the drinks on the course, so there will be cocktails at every hole. There'll also be water for those of you who don't drink. But there's also going to be poo-poos throughout the course. Alakai Paleko will be hosting our party at the end of the event, and we will be having live entertainment. And it should be a good time. It's going to be fun. We also have contests. We're going to be hosting the closest to the pin, longest drive, and hole-in-one. And other than that, we'll also have a silent auction at the party. So if you're a golfer, you're interested in getting involved in a really fun golf tournament, you can go to our website at mauiunitedway.org, and it has all the information there. And in addition to golfing, we are also looking for silent auction donations and tea sponsorships. And of course, anyone that wants to give in any way, shape, or form, if you'd like to volunteer for the tournament. There's many things that we're collecting for right now. So just go to our website, check out what we got going on, and if you can help us in any way, we'd really appreciate your support. 12 at Twilight Golf Tournament. It's going to be a great tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun.
12 at Twilight. Mm-hmm. I don't get it.
12 holes.
12 holes.
Not 18.
From noon to... I got that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But from noon to Twilight to play 12 holes?
It's basically, it's not noon. It starts at 2 p.m. is the shotgun start.
Oh, okay.
Registration starts at 1.
Oh, okay.
So basically from like 2 to 6.
2 to 6. Okay.
Some people finish up around 5. It's kind of like a half day of golf.
Yeah.
Your
I'd
normal
finish up
golf
about
day.
10.
Are you a golfer?
Kind of.
Oh, see? This is a kind of golfer tournament. You don't have to be a good golfer to play in this tournament.
No.
It sounds like it's more about the watering holes.
I think
Yes.
so. I think so. Every hole has water in it, yes.
Yes. It's going to be a fun tournament. Like I said, we're going to be featuring different beers at every hole through the support of Anheuser-Busch. And it's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be great entertainment after the event. Come down and join us if you can make it.
See, I think that's your pitch line. I think you should have started with, we're featuring different beers at every hole.
I try not to talk about the beer too much because that tends to, push people in the wrong direction. But yes, I mean, the actual tagline on the tournament is 12 beers, 12 holes. But that doesn't mean you have to drink 12 beers. It just means there's going to be 12 different beers there.
Maybe I could fill up my bag with the ones I don't drink.
Yeah, there you go. Take them home. No, I'm not condoning that. All the liquor has to stay on the course.
Okay, all right. Okay.
But no, it's gonna be a great time. We're gonna have great poo-poos throughout the course. There's gonna be lots of fun stuff going on throughout the day. And
Your tournaments are usually sellout, yeah.
last year it was the first year that they held it. We were not the
Oh, okay.
beneficiary, but I did have the pleasure of volunteering at the tournament, and I can tell you that everybody there had a fantastic time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Where's
It was practically as fun volunteering at this tournament as it was playing in it, from what I could tell.
Yeah. So where's the dinner held then?
It's going to be at Mulligan's.
Oh, Mulligan's,
Yeah,
okay.
right there on the
Right
course
there.
afterwards. Buffet dinner. Olakai will be there to entertain everybody, and then we have a guest that's coming in to play live music, and I don't know exactly who that is. And the beauty of it is it's not specifically my responsibility to find out who that is. So they're still confirming who it's going to be.
So I'm hearing that this is one of those best kind of events where you don't have to take care of all the details.
Exactly. This is one of those events where luckily we just benefit as far as partnering with them. We are helping them with the silent auction, and we are helping with registration, but other than that, we're very, very, very privileged to have Carrie picking us as their beneficiary for this tournament this year.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So what else? Other kinds
And
of
if,
things?
for those of you who don't know who Carrie Ann Aurora is, she is actually the person who coordinates the Willie K Golf Tournament every year.
Ah,
So in any comparison, you know it's going to be a good time.
right.
Yep.
Right. And that's also held out there.
Yeah, the Willie K tournament is at the Conopoli Golf Course, I
Oh, it
believe.
is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's changing it up. She wanted to do something a little different. So.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool. So what else have you got between now and Christmas?
Oh,
We have 2 minutes.
Well, we will.
Maui United Way has a toy drive.
Yes, we will have a toy drive that's going on. See, Dean knows us so well. You just finished the pitch right. We'll have a toy drive in November that usually runs from mid-November through early December. That's when we collect gently used or new toys for kids in need through the holiday season, and we distribute them through our partner agencies. So anyone who donates a toy to our toy drive, it's going to go to helping one of our 40 partner agencies distribute them to their kids that need a little help during the Christmas time and need a little cheer in their life.
Cool.
Yeah, so we have that going on also.
I think you covered it.
Yes.
Wow.
I think that's enough.
You can-
I'll
you
be
can take
back.
you can
I'll
take
be
a
back.
breath now.
Yeah. I'll be back next year to talk about what's going on next year.
Next year, you'll be back next month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that we got you back in a routine,
Yeah.
it was like,
It's been a
whoa,
while. I haven't
she's
been
taking
here in a little while.
long break.
Yeah. But
Cool.
yeah, I mean, please go and check us out, MauiUnitedWay.org, if you're just interested in learning a little bit more about the organization, or if you are interested in playing at the 12 at Twilight Golf Tournament, we would love to have you.
Terrific.
Thank you.
Phone number to call?
244-8787.
244-8787.
Yes.
Very good. Thanks, Lox.
Thanks, Susie. Always a pleasure.
Same here. Have a great day.
I will.
Thank you. And the voice that we heard periodically during that interview from Dean Wong and the Imua Family Services, you've got an event coming up is it this Saturday?
This Saturday.
Hello Kitty time again?
It's that time of the year. Hello, Kitty.
Only he can get by with that one.
So, you said Endeavor.
Sorry. Endeavor.
Endeavor. Imua Family Services is bringing back something that we did last year for the first time. We wanted to go, into the shopping center and sort of let families know about our services and let them meet and talk to our therapists directly. And just ask questions. Feel free to ask questions about their children's development, whether they're reaching certain milestones, whether the family should have a need for concern, or if there's anything that Imua could do to help and assist families. And we weren't really sure how that was going to go over. We thought, are people going to walk by and kind of, just sort of feel a little shame and grab a brochure gently off the table and walk away and, not really interact with us. We didn't know what to expect. But we went down to Queen Kamana Shopping Center and we set up some tables. We brought down our speech language pathologist, our physical therapist, occupational therapist, and our social work staff. And when we arrived in the morning to set up at the shopping center, there were people there waiting for us with their children.
Wow.
Sitting in the chairs, waiting to see us. And to tell you the truth, before we even got set up, we had lines at every table, people waiting to talk to the therapist. And we had to create a waiting list for the entire day. And we were there till, late in the afternoon talking to families. And what's really valuable about this is that the families actually did have significant needs. And as an example, at the end of the day, we had over 33 referrals to our infant child development program. So these were for children that were from age birth through age 3. And 33 children who did need services that we could offer them. And then we had 13 referrals to our early childhood development program, which is from age 3 through age 6. And
That's awesome.
It was huge and very significant. And in fact, one child that we were able to talk to the family, we learned that the child was actually deaf. And he lived in Hana with his family and had not been diagnosed. So it was very important that this contact had been made through the organization, and families really benefited from talking to our therapists. They just got helpful advice. They got things they could try at home to help move their children along and help them reach their next level or next milestone. And our programs literally saw a huge influx over the next few months of people who had just been exposed to the organization through this means, And we made it fun for people. Hello Kitty comes out twice through the day and does a photo opportunity, and you got to know that's huge. That's bigger than Santa Claus coming to town. And so Sanrio partners with us and brings Hello Kitty to the shopping center so the children could meet Hello Kitty and get their picture taken. And we gave every child that did get a little mini screening a free ticket to ride on the Cubby Caboose train that goes around the Queen Kamana Shopping Center. And I have to tell you, I have a 2-year-old, and that train is everything in the world. Everything in the world to him. So it doesn't matter where we are in the shopping center, he hears that choo-choo and he's just like, train, 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 So we don't leave there until we go on the Cubby Caboose.
Gotcha.
So really good. And we have some great support. Maui Taiko will come and do a taiko demonstration for children, and they'll invite children onto the stage and help them, bang a drum for a little while, and they'll show them how to do that. And so we just try and make it a lot of fun for children. We do a story time with puppets and little sing-alongs and nursery rhymes, and give children, a way to engage with us while they're there, and parents are talking to our therapists. So it's an exciting time.
Well, that's neat, and that kind of gives them a little insight into how your programs work. It's not no pushing, shoving kind of thing. It's here we are.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And a lot of people don't know. I mean, they probably know who we move family services. They might know what we do, but they may not know how the therapies are engaged with children. And what people are often surprised to learn is that we do therapy through play. Children respond best in play, and they interact the most through play, and they engage more when involved with play. So, coming to a Move Family Services and bringing a child in for service isn't like going to a doctor's office. They're not sitting in a clinical lab room, and they're not meeting people in white coats. Our therapists are there to get down on the floor and play at eye level and talk to the children, engage them in things to find out what the children are capable of doing and what they should be doing at the time of their chronological age.
Well, I think that perhaps is part of the success of this program. Mm-hmm. This was the first one last year.
Yeah, it was the first time we did it. We weren't sure, when we exposed ourselves to the community that way, how people would take it. And what we did was we have a very extensive evaluation period that we go through with a child when they first become engaged in our program. If we're trying to learn what a child's development issues might be, it takes several times where we're together with the child and the family and those that interact with the child. But what we did was we kind of scaled it down to a small 10-minute little mini screening of just some questions and answers to go through with the parent and help us to determine where the child is, just on a rough basis. And by the parent engaging with the therapist, we were able to learn a lot about the child just in a small amount of time, and just give some helpful advice, some pointers, and help sort of set them on their way. And if we felt that there was actually something serious that a parent could look into or benefit from our services, then we referred them to our program and let them make the decision from there.
I just think that's terrific that people came by. I mean, it kind of makes me feel like they knew they needed some help. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to make that decision to come to you and say, my child is not developing the way we think they should be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to overthink it a little bit. In my mind, my tendency is I sort of went through the stages of change, sort of thinking, a lot of times people are in a pre-contemplative place, and they may come across you and then sort of think, well, there is this area that my child isn't responding to. And then by talking to you, they start to ask questions and begin to consider, what the possibilities might be, or that the possibilities their child does have a delay. Or maybe it was just because it was convenient. They happened to be at the shopping center, and we were right there, and they said, hey, I don't have to make an appointment. I don't have to take time off my work schedule. I can just walk up to them and just see if my assumptions might be correct here. I think intuitively parents have an instinct about their children. I think that we just don't often want to go there until it's absolutely necessary.
Right.
So we're encouraging parents and caregivers and foster parents, anyone who's out there today who has a small child and you're concerned about any area of their physical or emotional or behavioral development, to come by Queen Kalmana Shopping Center on Saturday and visit with our therapists and just talk story and let your children engage in some playtime with us on the center stage. And I'm sure it'll be beneficial for everybody.
And so taking that step becomes much easier when you're out there in the community with them and they don't have to come to you.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be. And sometimes there's absolutely nothing wrong and the child is right on course and they're acting very typical for their age, but sometimes parents just need that reassurance to know that that's normal behavior, and you can expect that from a 2-year-old.
But a lot of these delays can be corrected very
absolutely
easily,
yes, and a delay is not, parents shouldn't be alarmed about that. And I'll be honest with you right now. I was on Oahu yesterday with a State of Hawaii developmental training with our care coordinators, and they handed out these new worksheets that help you see where your child is at, with cognitive and social and motor skills and language. And So I have a 2-year-old. So of course I wanted to go through the process myself, fill out the paperwork and see what I learned. And I actually, if you had asked me, I would have said, well, my son is brilliant. He's ahead of the curve. I think that he's an outstanding genius, and I'm getting ready to roll him in violin any day now,
No bias there.
I know, none whatsoever. But I can honestly tell you that I found that he is falling behind in 2 areas, in his fine motor skills and cognitively, and some of his speech expression. And the reason is because I have a tendency to do everything for him. And I so intuitively know what he wants that sometimes I do it for him before he has the opportunity to ask. And if a child doesn't need to speak, they won't.
They won't.
So there are tricks that you can do, like putting things just slightly out of their reach, so they have to ask for something if they want it. I had his bedroom all set up so he could reach his books, reach his toys, reach, everything that we wanted him to reach, he could reach. But then that doesn't teach him to ask for something if he can reach for everything he needs,
Hang on to that thought while we take a break.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, your weekly radio show where we talk story with our Maui Nonprofit executive directors and their staff to find out what they're doing to keep Maui, Maui. And we're talking right now with Dean Wong, who's the executive director at Imua Family Services, and we're learning a few things about raising children.
Yeah, and if you're raising children, you're always learning something about raising children. They are teaching you something all the time, or teaching you what you're not doing. So it's a fascinating process.
It's an interesting cycle, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, people say this, it sounds redundant and sort of typical to say this, that they don't come with a handbook. And they're all very different and unique. And yet in many ways, when it comes to development, children are very much the same. There is a sort of a schedule that we know that between this month and this month, that children should start to use these skills or start to develop certain skills. And it doesn't mean that if they don't, there's a serious issue, but it does mean that maybe you need to change your behavior with them in the home so that they can develop those skills, and so that's what we try and help parents do.
And the tendency is probably there for new parents, and with the child at 2, you still are a new parent, to try to do things for them. What you talked about just before the break, I mean, that's uncanny. I mean, because what parent isn't doing that?
Yeah. Well, okay, so there's lots. I mean, I think that, there's different circumstances that affect different families. Sometimes you have the circumstance where both parents are having to work or have multiple jobs to support, the family and their family needs, or maybe they're supporting extended members of the family as well. And so there isn't a parent in the home with the child who is able to pay attention to certain needs and help their child develop cognitively or with their social skills. And so it may go unnoticed for a long time, and then the child falls behind. It still can be fixed, but it's going to mean a change in behavior in terms of how the parent engages with the child. On the other hand, we're in a situation where we're almost too attentive to our child, where we're instinctually we know what our son needs before he even has an opportunity to ask for it. So, instead of giving him the opportunity to express what he wants, we're asking him, oh, did you want something to drink? Oh, do you want to have a snack? Oh, do you need a blanket? Are you cold? So he's able to answer those things with a yes or no, and he doesn't have to express himself more than that. So, by creating a situation where he needs to use his words and put more than one or two words together and to formulate small sentences. You know, if you don't require that from a child, they're not going to do something they're not required to do. And so, but making them required to do something does help them to develop skills they're going to need further down the road.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So these are things that are easily repairable, but, you know, where sometimes a parent will come to us and say, you know, my child is 2.5, and they're not really speaking yet. You know, so they're worried. They're worried that there's a more serious situation. And then sometimes just sort of pointing out, well, is your child required to speak? You know, or have you made it so that your child has a place to speak? You know, if you only ask your child questions that he can answer yes or no to, then why would they need to speak?
Right.
You know, so you know, but these are all issues that we as parents, you know, don't know, and the child is constantly changing. Every stage of development, every milestone that they're at is a new experience for the parent, you know. And so learning and talking to experts about what they should be seeing in their children, what techniques they can use. And I'll give you a really simple one. You know, I was reading in one of his fine motor skills that Tino should know how to snip, you know, with a pair of scissors, like a little children's scissors, you know, a piece of paper. Well, I had never even offered him a pair of little children's scissors to cut with, because in my mind, no, I don't want to give him a pair of scissors, you know.
He's too young.
He's too young. So, but not only should he actually, yes, snip a piece of paper with a pair of scissors, what I learned was if I actually cut the paper into 1-inch strips, so when he snips it, he gets the feeling of accomplishment when the page falls into two pieces. If you give him a full piece of paper and ask him to snip, then he's going to get frustrated that the scissor isn't working properly or that he's not able to do the whole thing. So these are simple little techniques, but you know, how do you know that sometimes unless you've had the opportunity to talk with someone who does know these skills?
Wow. And I would think that you've also got the in play the family dynamic of if there's only one child, it's the first child versus the third child. Those kinds of things where each child is going to develop at a different pace.
Exactly, yes. And, you know, children do typically mirror each other, so sometimes that can be good, and sometimes that can be bad, you know, depending on what it is, the behavior is that they're mirroring. And, you know, children will entertain each other for sure together for periods of time, but they don't teach each other all the time, you know. So you have to let both things, you know, happen in the relationship with the family. You know?
I see.
And you know, I'll be honest, we see all kinds of families at Imua Family Services, from children that are coming from what are seemingly very stable homes with a lot of input and a lot of you know, organizational care, to families where there's disarray going on and maybe there's some you know, uninvited drama into the house, or you know, other situations, maybe there's domestic violence in the home, and parents don't often realize that almost anything that a child is exposed to is going to have an impact on their development, whether it's trauma or whether it's the loss of, you know, a pet or a loved one or an auntie or something like that from the house, or moving from one place to another place, or, you know, adequate nutrition. You know, all of those things are going to play in the child's development. You know, feeding has a lot to do with children's ability to speak and have speech. So if a child doesn't have some of those basic necessities in their home, and the opportunity to feed themselves with different textured foods, and have those opportunities to manipulate their tongues and move things around and engage in putting things in and out of their mouth, then their speech development might be delayed. You
Interesting.
know? Yeah. So, like I said, these are all the kinds of things that people will learn in talking to our therapists and engaging with them and letting them meet the child and have a little playtime and interaction with them. And so, yeah, you know, even if you think everything is great, like I certainly would think everything is on track right now, you know, but there's always room to learn and grow as a parent and learn how we can engage with our children.
Wow, that's terrific. I noticed this morning I was looking at your website, and the list of your staff, the personnel. What an outstanding group of people.
It's pretty extensive, I have to tell you. Quite honestly, we probably have the most extensive range of early childhood professionals under one roof. than any other organization that deals with early childhood development. We have occupational therapists, we have speech language pathologists, physical therapists, special education instructors and general educators, and social workers who we call care coordinators. And that's just the direct service staff. You know, we also have a staff that does our newborn hearing screening at the hospital and for home births. We have our Camp IMUA staff, coordinators and management, and trying to think if I left anyone else. And of course, we have a top-notch administrative team, you know, that keeps the whole ship rolling. The list of staff that you see on our website is actually only about a half.
Wow.
Of the staff that actually make up our organization.
And you're in the process of trying to get your new building started?
Well, since you brought it up, as a matter of fact, you know, if you've been seeing us in the headlines of newspapers, we are opening an early childhood development center on Maui that will be a state-of-the-art center for the work that we do and an expansion of work that we do as well. So this center will be in collaboration on the same property as the new Easter Seals, Maui Easter Seals building, which is located right adjacent to Queen Kahumanu Shopping Center. That was a very strategic location for both Easter Seals and for IMUA Family Services because we wanted to be where the transportation hub is. So many people access our organization and our services through the transportation system, and they can connect anywhere and go to anywhere on the island at Queen Kahumanu Shopping Center. Also, being across from the University of Hawaii is really critical to us as well because we have an expanding partnership with early childhood training and development programs that are going on at University of Hawaii. So both at internship levels as well as partnership and programs. And so it's a great location for us. Everyone will be able to access us. We'll have new state-of-the-art therapy rooms that will be amazing for Maui children who are engaged in therapy services. And just as an example, they'll have an observation window built into the therapy room. So whether it's an intern who's watching a therapy to some might think of it as like the parent being on the outside watching a therapist on the inside, when in actual fact what we'd rather do is the opposite, have the parent in the room working with the child and the therapist talking to them through a microphone in their ear and telling them to try different things so they can learn how to do the work themselves directly with the child. So there will be some amazing sort of facility changes that will allow us to take what we do already and take it to an extremely new and innovative state-of-the-art level of working with children.
Exciting times.
Yeah, very exciting time.
What's your construction schedule? When do you hope to be in?
Well, we are, like I said, we're in sort of the final stages of our capital campaign right now. What that means is that initially when we started, we did a soft campaign where we engaged some sort of like government in County of Maui and some of the big foundations as an opportunity to give us grant to our capital campaign. And then when we got past about the 50%, then we started engaging the public in an opportunity to give so that we could have the range. If someone wants to give literally any dollar amount from $5, $10, $15, $20 to, of course, up in the thousands of dollars, it's very welcome. But we set up 3 ways that people could really give to us and make it affordable. One is that we want to reconnect with Maui community. And we have been providing services on Maui for 66 years now. And that means that there are a tremendous number of families, children who've come through our services and grown up and gone on in their lives. And we're giving an opportunity for families to reconnect with IMUA Family Services and say, my grandchild went to IMUA, my cousin went to IMUA, my daughter went to IMUA, and we'd like to give $100 to your capital campaign or $500 to your capital campaign. And you know what? We're going to put their name on the building. Or that child's name on the building, because really they're the bricks and mortars and foundation of how this organization has come to be over the years. It's been built on developing children over years. We started out helping children with polio in 1947, and we've progressed to meet the needs of children throughout the years, and will continue to do so.
Wow.
So that's one way that people can give to us, is just reconnecting with us and the people that have come through. We also wanted to make something very affordable, and if someone wants to give to us on a monthly giving program, we've set up a way that, for as an example, if someone wanted to give us $40 a month for 1 year and 100 people decided to do that, that would be $48,000, and that's really significant. So, and then we made a way for corporations and businesses to give it, say, a $5,000 and or more or less level as well, and have their names recognized as a business who provided and gave to IMUA's capital campaign.
Boy, that's terrific. So there's no excuse for not giving.
No, I mean, I hope not. I hope that people really believe that what they're doing is investing in the future of Maui's children by giving to this development center, and that their contribution will really provide services to children for decades to come.
Right. Now, did I see on your website that you serve over 400 children?
Oh, at any given day of the month, yes.
Right.
But we serve up to 3,000 children annually.
Okay, so 40. How many years? 44 years?
66.
66. I knew it was doubles.
Yeah.
66 years. I can't even add that high.
I know. It's a lot.
That's touching a lot of Maui's residents, and at all ages at this point.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true. It's really true.
That's just incredible. Mm-hmm. Now, the services you provide one-on-one, are those chargeable? I mean, there's a charge to the families?
No. Children come to IMUA Family Services and receive the services that they need for the betterment of the family and the child. There's no charge to the families.
And that's because you go out and get grants to supply the services.
Grants and fundraisers.
Right.
And all of the other opportunities are to give. Maui United Way as an example. Anything that we can engage, the community that can help those who need the help.
So it's important that parents know that getting the help for the child is what it's about.
Absolutely.
And not to put it off because you can't afford it.
No.
Now is when they need the services.
Right. And our commitment at IMUA is to provide the most excellent help that we can provide to the child. It's not, it's not substandard at all. It is the highest level of quality help that we can do at a pediatric level for children and families who need it here on Maui.
That's just, every time I talk with you about your programs, I'm just in awe of how you can put this all together and how you can help so many people and children who won't know 20 years from now why they are able to do things that, maybe they would not have been able to do had you not been there.
Right.
Did that make sense?
Yes, it did. And it overwhelms me too. I am in awe of our staff. And if you go to our website and you check out Team IMUA, you will be amazed at who you see is there helping us. They're there to welcome your children when they walk in the front door.
I walk out of here after the show, after talking to you, and I'm just thinking, wow, now that's a contribution to the community. We all do things, all of the nonprofits contribute in some way or another, but there's something about working with a child and giving them an opportunity that they may not have had if you weren't there is beyond what so many of us do.
I agree. And so if you want to touch base with us, just reminder, e holomua kako, which means moving our keiki forward. We will be at Queen Kamanu Shopping Center this Saturday from 9:30 in the morning when the center opens until 2 o'clock or however long it takes to get through all of the children. So come and join us.
That's tremendous. And the phone number for your office, if somebody wants to call you,
is 244-7467, or go to imuafamilyservices.org.
Thank you so much for being here, Dean, and we thank Locks for coming on with us and talking about Aloha. See, I did it, Maui United Way. It slips in there. This is Maui Nonprofit Directors Show, the Maui Nonprofit Notes. We'll be here again next week, same time, same place, answering the questions that you want to find out about what's happening in our community. My name is Susie Tiemann. I'm the, the hostess for the show, I guess?
Hostess with the mostest.
With the mostest. Ooh, thank you. Aloha, everyone. Have a great week.